When people think of Catholic churches in America, they often imagine the world-famous St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York or the Grand Basilica in Washington, D.C., but what if I told you there's so much more? Hidden beyond these iconic landmarks are sacred spaces that rival Europe's greatest cathedrals not only in size, but in beauty, history, and spiritual power. These are not just churches. They are living monuments. Some were built by immigrants who gave everything to leave behind a legacy of faith. Others are bold, modern creations using glass and steel to bring sunlight into worship. Each one tells a story of devotion, sacrifice, and the desire to create a space worthy of God. Stay with me until the very end, because the number one church on this list isn't just the largest in America. It's the largest in all of North America, a breathtaking shrine that stands as a national symbol of Catholic life. Let's begin our countdown of the top 10 biggest Catholic churches in the U.S. Number 10. Holy Name Cathedral, Chicago, Illinois, right in the middle of downtown Chicago. Surrounded by towering skyscrapers and the constant energy of city life stands Holy Name Cathedral. It seats just over 2,000 worshipers, which may seem small compared to others on this list. But what it lacks in raw size, it makes up for in meaning and history. Step inside, and the first thing that captures your eyes is the soaring wooden beams arching across the ceiling. They're not just beams. They're designed to look like tongues of fire, symbolizing the descent of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. The entire sanctuary feels alive, as if flames are burning above your head, not to destroy, but to inspire. It's a design that tells every visitor, faith is not static. It moves, it burns, and it pushes us forward. Holy Name Cathedral is also a story of resilience. After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 destroyed much of the city, Catholics needed a new spiritual home. Immigrants from Ireland, Italy, Poland, and other nations helped build this cathedral, brick by brick, as a sign of hope in a city rising from ashes. For generations, Holy Name has been an anchor, a place where families celebrated baptisms, weddings, funerals, and holy days together. Today, when visitors walk through its doors, they don't just see a building. They step into a living testimony of endurance. It reminds us that greatness isn't always measured by square footage. Sometimes it's measured by faith that never fades, no matter the fire. Number 9, Christ Cathedral, Garden Grove, California, from Chicago's historic strength. We travel west to California, where faith is expressed in glass, light, and transformation. Welcome to Christ Cathedral, formerly known as the Crystal Cathedral. This modern giant seats around 2,248 worshipers under a roof. Made of glass, more than 10,000 panes of it. When the sun rises over Garden Grove, the entire building glows like a jewel. Step inside, and it feels as if heaven itself is shining into the sanctuary. The effect is so powerful that you don't just see the light, you feel it. But what makes Christ Cathedral truly special is its story. Originally built as a Protestant megachurch, it became a Catholic cathedral in 2019. That transformation itself is a lesson. Faith can adapt. Faith can renew, and sacred spaces can be reborn with new meaning. Today, Christ Cathedral is the mother church of the Diocese of Orange, one of the fastest-growing dioceses in America. Each week, thousands of Catholics gather here, praying in different languages: English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Korean, Tagalog, reflecting the vibrant diversity of Southern California. This cathedral is more than glass and steel. It's a reminder that the church grows when it opens its doors to every culture and voice, and it proves that even in our modern world, where technology dominates and distractions are endless, sacred beauty can still lift the human heart toward God. Number 8. St. Patrick's Cathedral, New York City. New York. If there's one Catholic church in America that almost everyone recognizes, it's St. Patrick's Cathedral. Standing right on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, surrounded by luxury shops and towering skyscrapers, this church is both a landmark and a living sanctuary. With seating for about 2,400 people, it may not be the largest in terms of capacity, but it is easily one of the most visited Catholic sites in the world, drawing millions of people each year. Construction began in the mid-1800s at a time when Catholics in New York faced discrimination and hostility. Building such a grand Gothic revival cathedral in the heart of Manhattan was a bold statement. It told the world Catholic immigrants were here to stay, and they would leave their mark not in the shadows, but in stone and spires that reach toward heaven. When you stand outside, the twin spires rise over 330 feet, piercing the sky and holding their ground even as glass skyscrapers grew taller around them. They are a reminder that faith has its place in the heart of America's busiest city. Inside, the stained glass windows cast colorful light across marble floors. The vaulted ceilings soar overhead, creating an atmosphere that seems to lift every visitor out of the noise of the city. The sound of traffic fades, and instead you hear silence, prayer, or the soft echo of the organ. It's a space that doesn't just impress with beauty, it transforms with peace. For millions of tourists, St. Patrick's is a must-see destination. But for local Catholics, it is much more. It is the place where generations have celebrated Mass, confessed sins, prayed for loved ones, and sought strength during difficult times. The cathedral has been the backdrop for countless major events in the life of the Church in America, from PayPal visits to national memorial services. The spiritual lesson of St. Patrick's is simple. Even in a world driven by business, technology, and endless schedules, we must create space for faith. Life may be noisy, but the sacred can never be crowded out. This cathedral is living proof. Number 7. Cathedral Sanctuario de Guadalupe, Dallas, Texas, from New York's Gothic towers. Our journey takes us to the vibrant city of Dallas, Texas, where faith is measured not only in architecture, but in the overwhelming devotion of thousands of people who gather here every week. The Cathedral Sanctuario de Guadalupe seats around 2,500 worshippers, but on any given Sunday, as many as 11,000 people come to celebrate Mass. Imagine that thousands fill the pews, the aisles, and even the outdoor areas around the church, all united in prayer. The sheer scale of this devotion makes it one of the largest and most active Catholic communities in the nation. What makes the Cathedral Sanctuario de Guadalupe remarkable is that it is more than a building. It is the beating heart of a community. Families from across Texas come here, bringing their traditions, their music, and their devotion. On feast days, the streets around the cathedral are filled with processions, dancers, and songs that echo the deep Catholic faith of Latino communities. In a world where many people feel isolated, this cathedral shows that faith is about belonging. Here, thousands gather as one family. They pray together, celebrate together, and draw strength from one another. The Cathedral Sanctuario de Guadalupe reminds us that the true size of a church is not only in how many people it can seat, but in how many lives it touches. Number 6. Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, St. Louis, Missouri. From the immense crowds of Dallas, we now travel to the Midwest, where one of the most breathtaking Catholic churches in the entire world stands tall. Welcome to the Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, known not only for its size, but for its extraordinary mosaics that make it unlike any other cathedral in America. This cathedral can seat about 2,500 worshippers, but what truly sets it apart is its artistry, covering over 83,000 square feet. It contains one of the largest collections of mosaics on earth. Step inside and it feels as if every wall and ceiling has come alive with color. Millions of tiny pieces of glass and stone, carefully placed by artisans over decades, shimmer in radiant blues, golds, reds, and greens. They tell the stories of the Bible, the saints, and the history of the Church. The effect is overwhelming. It is like standing inside a jewel box that has been transformed into a sacred space. The Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis was built in the early 20th century, blending Romanesque and Byzantine styles that make it stand out against the surrounding city. Its iconic green dome is a landmark visible from afar, but the real wonder begins the moment you step inside. Each mosaic panel is a masterpiece, yet together they create something much greater than any single part. It is a living lesson of faith itself, built piece by piece, sacrifice by sacrifice, until something magnificent is revealed. Today, visitors from around the world come here, not only to admire its art, but to feel the presence of the sacred. The lesson of the Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis is powerful. The greatest works of faith take time. Just as each mosaic tile is small on its own, each act of devotion may seem simple, but when joined together, they create something eternal. Number 5. Cathedral of St. Paul. St. Paul, Minnesota. From Missouri's shimmering mosaics, we travel north to Minnesota, where the Cathedral of St. Paul crowns Summit Hill with a massive dome that dominates the skyline. This Beaux-Arts masterpiece, completed in 1915, can seat close to 3,000 worshippers, making it one of the largest Catholic churches in the nation. The Cathedral of St. Paul was inspired by the great cathedrals of Europe, and its design shows it. The copper-clad dome rises over 300 feet into the air, drawing the eyes upward and reminding all who see it that faith always points beyond the present moment. Inside, marble columns, sweeping arches, and detailed altars create a majestic atmosphere that invites reverence. What makes this cathedral especially moving is the way it honors the immigrant communities who built it. Side chapels within the cathedral are dedicated to the patron saints of different ethnic groups from Ireland to Italy, from Germany to Eastern Europe. Each chapel reflects the cultural roots of the Catholic families who helped establish the church in the Midwest. Step inside and you can almost hear the echoes of generations of prayers in dozens of languages, all united in one faith. The Cathedral of St. Paul is not only a place of worship, but also a symbol of unity. It shows how people from different cultures, arriving with little more than hope and determination, could join together to build something that would last for centuries. In today's world, where society often feels divided, this cathedral reminds us that when people unite around what truly matters, they can accomplish greatness. Number 4. Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels, Los Angeles, California. From the classic beauty of Minnesota's dome, we now move west to Los Angeles, where one of the most modern Catholic cathedrals in America stands as both bold and inspiring. This is the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels, dedicated in 2002, church that can seat nearly 3,000 people. Unlike Gothic spires or Beaux-Arts domes, this cathedral is unapologetically modern. Designed by Spanish architect Rafael Moneo, its adobe-colored walls and geometric shapes rise more than 11 stories high, covering nearly 58,000 square feet. Instead of symmetry, the building has angles and turns that remind visitors that faith itself is not always a straight path, but a journey filled with twists that ultimately lead closer to God. Step inside, and you're greeted by alabaster windows that filter sunlight into a golden glow. The entire sanctuary is bathed in warmth, soft light that contrasts beautifully with the busy, restless city outside. Along the walls hang massive tapestries depicting saints from every continent, making it clear that this cathedral is not just for Los Angeles. It's for the whole world. The Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels also holds something deeply symbolic. It enshrines the relics of Saint Vibiana, the patroness of Los Angeles. By blending ancient tradition with bold modern design, the cathedral bridges the past and the future. It tells the story of Catholicism in California, from the early Spanish missions to today's diverse and vibrant community. The lesson here is simple. Tradition and innovation can walk hand in hand. Just as this cathedral integrates California's history with a vision for the new century, our faith can remain rooted in the past while still looking forward with courage. Number 3. St. Charles Borromeo Church, Visalia, California. From Los Angeles, we journey into California's Central Valley, where something truly monumental has risen in recent years. St. Charles Borromeo Church, opened in 2023, is now the largest parish church in North America, with seating for more than 3,100 worshippers. What makes this church so remarkable is that it is brand new, yet already a giant in scale and spirit. Built in a region known for agriculture and rapid population growth, St. Charles Borromeo reflects the changing face of Catholic life in America. While many of the great cathedrals on this list are centuries old, this one is a symbol of the future proof that Catholic faith is not shrinking, but expanding into new communities. Architecturally, the church embraces California Mission Revival style, connecting it to the historic roots of Catholicism in the state. The exterior recalls the missions built by Spanish friars centuries ago, while the vast interior responds to the practical needs of a rapidly growing congregation. It is a fusion of heritage and progress, standing as both a nod to history and a step toward the future. But the true power of St. Charles Borromeo is in the people who gather there. Families from Latino, Asian, African, and European backgrounds fill the pews week after week. Masses are celebrated in multiple languages, creating a community where everyone finds belonging. It's living proof that the Catholic Church is universal, embracing every culture and voice. Number 2. Basilica of the Sacred Heart, Notre Dame. Indiana journey now takes us to the famous University of Notre Dame in Indiana, where the Basilica of the Sacred Heart rises proudly as both an academic and spiritual landmark. Completed in 1888, this Gothic revival basilica can welcome thousands of worshippers, and its spire climbs more than 200 feet into the sky, making it visible for miles around. Step inside, and you'll be surrounded by golden accents, murals, and stained glass windows imported from France. The interior glows with light and color, every detail carefully designed to lift minds toward heaven. Many of the murals were painted by Luigi Gregori, an artist who once served the Vatican. His work covers the walls with biblical stories and saints, making the Basilica a true house of sacred art. But the Basilica of the Sacred Heart is more than just beautiful architecture. It is the heart of campus life at Notre Dame. Students, professors, alumni, and pilgrims all gather here for Mass, prayer, and reflection. For generations of young people, this basilica has been where education meets faith. Its presence reminds every student that knowledge without wisdom is incomplete, and success without God lacks meaning. The lesson here is timeless. Faith and reason are not enemies. They walk together, just as this basilica shines as both a house of prayer and a center of learning. Number 1. Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, Washington, D.C. Finally, we arrive at the crown jewel of Catholicism in America, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. This is the largest Catholic church in the United States and in all of North America. Covering more than 19,000 square meters of interior space, this basilica is massive in every sense. Its great dome rises more than 300 feet, and its Knights Tower stretches even higher, dominating the skyline of the nation's capital. Step inside, and you'll discover more than 80 chapels and oratories, each dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary under a different title, from Our Lady of Guadalupe to Our Lady of Czestochowa. These chapels celebrate the diversity of Catholic devotion across cultures and nations. Construction of the basilica began in 1920 and continued for nearly a century. Generations of American Catholics contributed their time, money, and prayers to complete it. Today, it stands as a symbol of perseverance, unity, and faith proof that when people work together for something greater than themselves, they can build a legacy that lasts forever. Walking through the National Shrine is like walking through the story of Catholicism in America. The mosaics shine with color. The marble altars tower in grandeur. Pilgrims from every state and from around the world come here to pray, reflect, and honor Mary, the patroness of the United States. The lesson of the National Shrine is this: true faith is universal. It transcends language, culture, and time. This basilica is not just for one city or one group of people. It belongs to everyone, house of prayer for the whole nation. Each church on this list is more than a building. It is a living witness, a reminder that faith is not only about prayer, but about creating something beautiful and lasting for generations to come. Now it's your turn. Which of these churches would you most love to visit, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more stories of faith, history, an inspiration, because these churches remind us of one powerful truth: what we build for God lasts forever.